Hi, my name's Cheese, and welcome to another Fossil Sweeper Progress Update video. If you haven't heard of the project before, you can find an overview here, but the TLDR is it's like Minesweeper, but you're digging up fossils, and you get to build skeletons out of the stuff you find. For the past month or so, I've been continuing on with museum editing work. I also added a new dig ability to the dig phase, fixed some assembly bugs, and did some work on character customization workflows. I had a request for a feature that automatically places flags when clicking on a dug tile if all of the remaining tiles touching that tile have fossils. Initially I was hesitant, and my expectation was that this would lead towards solving digs through random clicking. It wasn't much effort to implement though, and after doing so I came to find that while it does move away from my intended pacing for the game, it streamlines things without significantly diminishing the infer the location of hidden things from multiple clues gameplay, even when combined with the Save Big Dig option. When doing the size variation work mentioned in the previous video, I'd neglected to update some text-to-speech related code which was making it misreport the chunk's relative position to target coordinates. While fixing that, I also fixed a few other long-standing bugs, and made it so that switching between puzzle and action mode puts the currently held fossil chunk on the front of the stash queue instead of at the end, and that feels a lot more intuitive. Continuing to build on previous month's museum work, I've settled on a near isometric view for the edit mode camera, which feels more like what one might expect from a management sim or a base builder. Pan and tilt controls now more closely match the dig phases controls, and rotation is now stepped to 45-degree increments. I've made regular click pick items up, and moved the edit menu to only show when clicking and holding. This streamlines positioning stuff, which feels a lot better to me. I also turned on snapping by default, so now aligned nicely is the default state for placeables. When entering organize mode for a mount, the camera no longer snaps to an overhead view and instead keeps the current angle and zooms in close enough to the mount so that its specimens should be comfortably visible within the viewport. I updated camera panning to unproject 2 points and used the calculated distance at floor height to be used as a multiplier for pan speed. This is an approach that I used in Hive Time to make sure that panning feels consistent at different zoom levels, and that mouse panning in particular feels like it's got one-to-one sensitivity with the operating system's cursor movement. Lastly, I also spent a little time starting to flesh out a workflow for character customization that involves swapping out meshes. I had some troubles when trying to export meshes as separate models. It seemed like unused vertex groups were getting removed, which wound up assigning vertices to the wrong bones once it was attached to a skeleton. Very creepy. I was able to work around that by exporting it all as one model, and then getting Godot to save the imported stuff as separate files, and I can use that as a fallback if I can't track down and fix the actual problem. A very big thank you to the supporters going by on screen at the moment. Their support has helped me eat while making this game, and I am so very appreciative. A huge thanks also to Screen Tasmania, who supported this project with a small grant. Anyway, that's about it for today. If you'd like to keep track of development or try the playable prototype, you can find some links in the description. And if you're super keen to check out what we talked about here today, I make early test builds available to my supporters on Patreon. Thanks for watching, and goodbye!